I like the attitude that this team has had up to this point, and hopefully we can continue to, build on that and have positive momentum going into the game and go out and play a good game and execute well.
This is Alabama arriving in New Orleans to get ready for the All-State Sugar Bowl game against Kansas State. The Tide and the Wildcats will face off in Caesars Superdome at 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Good evening. I'm Grace Brister filling in for Gary Harris. In the Nick Saban era, Alabama made 2 trips to the All-State Sugar Bowl that were not part of the college football playoff and lost both games. One against Utah in 2009 and Oklahoma in 2014. Alabama head coach Nick Saban talked about the team's approach for a game like this, and he says learning how to overcome adversity and maintaining their intensity will not only help them in this game but also in their life.
You got to be able to recapture the momentum in the game when things don't go well. You got to be able to overcome adversity. So even though you may practice and prepare and start out really well, you've got to be able to maintain that intensity and that momentum for 60 minutes in the game, regardless of what happens in the game. Whether things go well or something bad happens, you've got to be able to overcome it.
Turning now to Bama in the NFL from this past weekend. Miami gets the first touchdown. Tua Tagovailoa finds a hole and passes it to Jalen Waddle. Waddle turns on the Jets for the 84-yard touchdown. However, the Dolphins lose 26-20 to the Green Bay Packers. Gardner Minshew tosses into the end zone to Devontae Smith for the 14-yard touchdown. However, Dallas gets the win over Philadelphia 40-34. And here's Mac Jones. He scrambles in the backfield to buy some time. Jones fires down the field where Scotty Washington taps the ball to Jacoby Myers for the 48-yard touchdown. However, the Bengals take this one 22-18. And here are some of the other former Alabama Crimson Tide players that starred in the NFL this past weekend. Houston Texans rookie Christian Harris gets his first career interception with 90 seconds to go to seal Houston's 19-14 win over Tennessee. It's the Texans' first win of the season. The Green Bay Packers defensive tackle Jaron Reed has a monster day with 6 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery to help the Packers beat Miami. Denver Broncos receiver Jerry Jeudy records 6 catches for 117 yards in the Broncos' loss to the LA Rams. New York Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley finishes with 12 tackles, but the Jacksonville Jaguars are too much for the Jets, 19-3. That's going to do it for us tonight in sports, but stick around. WVUA 23 News at 5 will be right back. Good evening. I'm Grace Brister filling in for Gary Harris. Alabama is in New Orleans to get ready for the All-State Sugar Bowl game against Kansas State. The Tide and the Wildcats will face off in Caesars Superdome at 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young and outside linebacker Will Anderson are participating in the Sugar Bowl. Alabama head coach Nick Saban says that both of these players have been tremendous leaders for the team. He says he thinks their respect for their teammates and their responsibility for their team plays a big role in this decision.
I do think that both guys see the fact that you really create value for yourself when you play football. There's a lot of guys out there that saying, I'm not playing because I'm going to get ready for the draft. Well, how do you get better ready for the draft? By playing in the game against good competition. And I think it's a great example for college football that guys that are special players who had great seasons and have won numerous awards choose to continue to play and support their team.
I think it's great. It's great for college football that the best players are going to play in this game, and we have a handful of those guys as well that have elected to play in this game, and that's what it's about. It's playing with your brothers one last time for the guys that are going on to the next level, and I think that's really, really important for our game in general.
Alabama men's basketball will finish the 2022 year as a top 10 team. Nate Oates' team is 8th in the Associated Press top 25 and 9th in the coaches poll. Men's basketball starts SEC play on Wednesday at 23rd ranked Mississippi State. MSU is 11-1 but has yet to play a team ranked in the top 25. So the Tide is far more battle tested.
We can play with anybody. We can also, we're down Jackson State 20-plus minutes into the game. If we don't bring it and don't play on the defensive end and turn the ball over, we're capable of losing to a lot of schools too. And we were a little inconsistent last year, so we've got to get more consistency.
Alabama women's basketball finished non-conference play with 9 straight wins. Coach Christy Curry says her team is doing a lot of things well, like playing selfless basketball and the identity this team is starting to take on. But conference play begins on Thursday against Georgia, and Coach Curry knows that that is a big challenge for her team, and they will have to find a way to respond to it.
The margin for error, it's going to be a game of mistakes, and it's about to be single digit. We're going to have to really understand the value of every single possession. As much as and as many people as we're playing, that sense of urgency with each and every one of them, I like who they're trying to be with their sense of urgency.
And that's going to do it for us tonight in sports, but stick around. WVUA 23 News at 6. We'll be right back. Good evening, I'm Grace Brister filling in for Gary Harris. The Crimson Tide is in New Orleans getting ready for the All-State Sugar Bowl game against Kansas State. Here's the team after landing in New Orleans this morning. Alabama and the Wildcats will face off in Caesars Superdome at 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Alabama head coach Nick Saban is known to be a big believer in fixing things and improving as the season progresses. In the Tide's 2 losses, they have had 17 penalties against Tennessee and 9 to LSU. However, Saban says that the team has worked hard all season to improve and that the team finished on a positive note. Saban says it all comes down to the ability to execute, and he hopes they can build on that in this game.
That's something that we've tried to continue to get our players to sort of have the proper respect for what you need to do to play winning football and how it creates value for yourself when you show that you can go out there and play with discipline and can execute, and you don't make the kind of mental errors that really cost your team. Because if you can do those things in a positive way, that creates value for you in your future as well.
Kansas State is coming off a big win to TCU, but Coach Saban says the Tide always wants to get their best shot with every team they play. But Wildcats coach Chris Kleiman says they are focusing on themselves.
That's something we've talked about all season long, is focusing on us. It's all about what Kansas State does. It's about our preparation. It's about us detailing our work. It's about us making sure that we're attacking the process on a daily basis to get to Saturday and play this game. And so, everything, that we talk about is going to be in preparation to get to Saturday.
Maryland transfer tight end C.J. Dupree announces his decision tomorrow at 10 a.m. He is choosing between Alabama and Ohio State. Dupree caught 30 passes for 314 yards and 3 touchdowns for Maryland this season. And he appeared in all 13 games as a true freshman in the 2021 season. Things became more difficult for the Miami Dolphins on Christmas Day. They lost 26-20 against the Green Bay Packers, giving them their 4th consecutive loss. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is back in concussion protocol for the 2nd time this season. He was placed under protocol the first time in a game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said Tagovailoa showed and admitted to having concussion symptoms when he spoke with doctors today, and he was immediately placed in protocol. McDaniel is unsure which play Tua might have suffered a concussion.
I care very deeply about each and every player. I take that serious. So, I just want him to get healthy and have peace of mind in that regard. And that's first and foremost. And then, whatever those circumstances are after, you deal with after. But it's about the human being and making sure he's squared away.
The Los Angeles Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts played today at Lucas Oil Stadium, and the Chargers won 20-3. That's going to do it for us tonight in sports, but stick around. WVUA 23 News at 10 will be right back.